Good morning, everyone. Good morning. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, you are on the Daily Huddle. My name is Sorel Kita. My business partner and co-founder of the Daily Huddle is Giovanni Gonzalez. He is traveling and not here with us today, but guess what, though? He is here more than in spirit. The Daily Huddle, we founded together as a space to equip ourselves with the tools we need to navigate business and life powerfully. And today I have the honor of hosting a new friend, Keith. And Keith is generous enough to assist us in diving in an essential question. And the question of the day is, what are three things I can do to improve my mood and thinking every day? Now, I want to tell you just a little bit about Keith before we dive in the conversation. And Keith, say your last name for me.
My last name, thank you. My last name is Lisenbee.
Lisenbee. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for helping me say it that way. Keith Lisenbee is the CEO and owner of Atlas Behavioral Health Consulting. Very keywords, behavioral health consulting. He has 30 years of experience in mental health, both in clinical practice and leadership. Keith specializes in transformative change, helping individuals, families, couples, and companies cultivate high emotional intelligence and guiding virtues. Now, you heard the question, three things, and your brain is probably going, tell me the three things, please. Tell me the three things. But before we go there, we're going to step back a little bit and challenge our assumptions about that and give Keith an opportunity to set the stage for us to explore what actually is happening in our brains and our bodies when our mood and our thinking marry to create the way we face the world, the way we face business, and the way we deal with ourselves and others. So I'm excited to be in the conversation with you, Keith, and welcome to the Daily Huddle.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm looking forward to a really wonderful, knowledgeable, great conversation.
Well, and you bring everything to the party. Thank you for being so generous. So let's start here. You know, when I hear mood, when I hear that word, I often associate it with emotions. So give us a sense. What actually is happening on a physiological level that gives me my mood? And how is that connected to my thinking?
Well, great question to start off with. So we'll start at the most perfect point there. Mood is our gauge for where our emotional state is at any given moment in time. Regardless of what we're doing, where we're at, and so forth, we always are in a mood based on the emotional state that we are in. Now, where do the emotions come from? Which is going to be is a real key question and answer here. And what we've learned now recently with the new developments in neuroscientific research into emotions is that emotions are created by our brains. They are created by a combination of two big factors. Number one, sensory input, our sight, our sound, our smell, our touch in the moment that we're in combination with past experience. So, how the mechanism works, and this is a metaphor, not exactly what happens, but it's a metaphor, is that let's say we're hearing something with, like, let's say it's a song we love on the radio that reminds us of something in our past that we enjoyed or of a sad experience. So what happens is that sensory input goes into our brain in an attempt to regulate us, to keep us in a homeostasis balance, is sensing that input and is saying, okay, what is this similar to or the same as something that has happened in my past? Because guess
Mm,
what? Why the brain needs to do this is because the brain wants to efficiently manage the entire body system because the brain takes up 20% of our resources of our body, 20%. And so it has to do this job very efficiently. The way it does it efficiently is it tries to predict what will happen next based on sensory input and past experience. And so if the brain says, oh, well, this music I'm hearing is a song. Oh, it's something, it clicks on something that happened in my past, something that I'm familiar with, or something close to it. And then as a result, in that prediction to help regulate us, it sends signals to our body. You know, it may send signals to our chest, it may send signals to our head, it may send signals to our arms, our chest, our feet, wherever, but it sends those signals. Those signals turn into physical sensations. Those
mm.
physical sensations are what we label as emotions.
So a tightness in my belly, I may say I'm nervous.
Right. Yes. And
Feeling
that,
the
go ahead.
feel, the tension I feel that makes me on edge, I may say I'm angry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you're saying that my brain is doing all of that automatically.
Automatically.
Yeah.
You know, based on, again, everyone, there used to be, it is a myth, but it used to be common practice to say, oh, all of our fear response is in the amygdala in the brain, or all of our excitement is here, or all of our this is here as far as our emotions. And we've learned through fMRI studies and things like that that that's not true. You know, everyone's brain is wired differently. And because everyone's experience is different, then someone hearing the same thing, they're going to experience it emotionally in two, three, four different ways. Everyone's going to experience it differently because they have past experiences. And if it's a song that's familiar to them, for example, and they love it or it reminds them of something wonderful, then they're going to get physical sensations in their body that they will label themselves as, well, this is joyful, this is happy, it makes me feel good, makes me want to dance. Or if it's a song that reminds them of a breakup or something went totally sideways in their life, then they'll have a different set of physical reactions somewhere else in their body, which would be different than everyone else's because everyone's different, that they label as, oh, this is sad, this is painful, this is depressing, etc.
So the brain does what the brain does.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I or any human being
Mm-hmm.
relate to all of that? And how does that impact real life? Like my relationships, like the way I operate in business. Why is it important for me as a business owner, Keith, to not just understand, but get a sense of how my brain works and how I can capitalize on that to be more effective in life and in business?
That's a big question, but let's start with thoughts and emotions and how they're put together and decision making.
Yeah.
So, um, another kind of thought process that we used to have in psychology and sociology and so forth, even in business, was this idea that people think rationally, that
Hmm.
people think based on their rational self-interest, that there may be, that they know what they want, they think what they want, and they make decisions in a rational, reasoned way. Well, not really. The current studies around behavioral economics and in that realm have shown no, actually, all of our decisions are based on how we feel. Now, here's the catch, though, to that. The catch
Hmm.
is when we have that physical sensation that we label with our own label of an emotion, then what do we do with that before taking action? Right? Do we step back from that emotion? Do we recognize the early stages of that physical sensation? Like, I got those butterflies. I'm feeling a little in my stomach. What do we do with that when we start sensing those physical sensations that we label as nervousness? that we label as excitement or anxiety, any of those things. What do we do with it? Well, that's where our rational reason brain kind of can step in. If we catch those physical sensations early on in the process, then we can consciously step backwards and say, you know what, maybe I need to kind of know a little bit more. Maybe I need to think through this before doing something.
Mm.
And so we're catching it early on, so we have the reason and the mindset in our cognition to then, okay, let me think through what I need to do here. What do I need
So
to do? How do I need to take the next step?
let me feed it back to you so I can confirm what I'm hearing. Are you saying that our emotions may be very effective guideposts to our actions, as opposed to our emotions being some things that we have to deal with and neutralize? We could actually use our emotions as early warning signals.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure that everyone that is listening, either right now or later on, you're listening to it or watching this, at your leisure, uh, have heard of the idea of a gut instinct.
Mm.
Gut instinct, that feeling in your gut, there's something wrong. This is like something's not quite right. And I tell people, don't ever ignore that, because that is a physical sensation that is coming from your brain, because your brain is registered based on your surroundings, your situation in that moment. Let's say you're in a meeting with someone, with a potential business partner, and then all of a sudden you get a gut feeling like this is not going well. This is going a little sideways, right? And then you get that queasiness, it's like, oh man, this is not good. Follow it. Notice it, follow it, then think through, like, okay, what's happening here? Now, what I advise in that situation, you're in a business meeting and you're looking at a deal, you're looking at a negotiation, and you got that gut feeling saying, then start asking questions. Start labeling what you're seeing with the other person. If you're sensing hesitation from them, then say, looks like you're thinking through this. Sounds like you're a little resistant to this idea. Sounds like you have some concerns. Looks like you're worried about this, you know, or if you're seeing frustration, then you would then say, okay, looks like you're a little bit frustrated, you know.
This is critical, what you're saying. Uh, if I'm hearing you correctly, Keith,
Mm-hmm.
catching the emotion is not my opportunity to reach a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Correct.
more my opportunity to explore,
Right.
create a space where myself and my spouse, myself and my
Mm-hmm.
business, myself,
Right.
a prospective client, myself and my team
Mm-hmm.
explore together
Mm-hmm.
what's real. Uh, Often the gut feeling leads to an assumption and a conclusion, and maybe we run with that. If I hear you
Mm-hmm.
correct, you're saying,
Right.
no, it's not an invitation to run with it. It's an invitation to explore more.
Right. With every possible crisis and every possible roadblock, there is danger and opportunity at the same time. That's the nature of crisis, philosophically speaking. The nature of crisis is danger plus opportunity. And so when you sense danger, when you have that gut feeling of like this is not going well, it's like, okay, let's explore. Let's figure it, let's be curious. Let's not go rush to judgment too quickly.
Yeah.
It's just a signal saying, hey, do something here. That's what
Yeah.
your brain is doing. It's sending those signals, giving you that physical sensation to do something, not stand still, not do nothing, do something. Best thing to do, be curious, ask questions, notice things. But when I was talking about the idea of labeling is when we sense an emotion or a thought process within the other person that we're talking to, and we're labeling that for them. We're saying, okay, we see the facial expression change, we see their eye contact change, and we label it. We say, oh, it looks like something crossed your mind. You know, looks like there's something holding you back.
Yeah.
That elicits important information for you then to make that rational judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that sense, the short conversation has created a very solid foundation for mining
Mm-hmm.
mood thinking to be effective in life and in business. So now I think the world has waited long enough. Would you reveal the three things to do to improve mood and thinking?
Yes, here's the big reveal, everybody. All right, everyone's been waiting for this for the last 15 minutes or so, or hour longer since they knew this was coming. So, so three words: exercise, exercise, exercise. But there's more to it than that. Okay. First one is exercise your body. Okay. Physical movement and exercise on a daily basis, roughly what, 20 to 25 minutes. There is no other natural way to improve your brain's ability to release all of those feel good neurotransmitters and chemicals that we have, like serotonin, like dopamine, in our system that makes us feel good. There is nothing naturally better to do on a daily basis to release endorphins, which are natural painkillers, natural anxiety relievers, dopamine for motivation and craving reward, serotonin for feelings of satisfaction. Those three are really, really key in enhancing our mood on a regular basis. Along with that, studies have shown in neuroscience that movement and exercise improves our acute cognitive functioning. So let's say you do a little workout, 25 minutes early in the morning, and you got an important meeting at 9 a.m., like this one is, then you are then more acutely able to concentrate, learn, and focus. Right. And this is a natural way of doing it. I urge anyone, I challenge anyone, go find a study that says that exercise and movement are bad. Just you won't find it. And it's one of the best ways for the brain to give us those feel good, natural neurochemicals in the brain that help us feel better and think better. So that's one. The next one is exercise your mind, exercise your brain. How do we do that? Learning. Learn something new every day. Our brain has right now, has a high degree of what is called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to learn new things. And we need to exercise it like a muscle. Just like our physical body muscles, we need to exercise our brain as if it is a muscle too, by learning something new every day. So learning something new every day allows our brain to build what are called neural pathways in the brain that we all need in order to function as high as possible or as highly as possible from a cognitive thinking rational standpoint. The more we build every day, the stronger it gets, the healthier brain gets over time.
Oh, Keith, when you
Mm-hmm.
say learning,
Mm-hmm.
what popped into my mind is there's the kind of learning that quote unquote is significant. And then there's the kind of learning that's just, I just learned that. Is it anything on the spectrum of learning or a specific kind of learning that promotes the growth of new neural pathways in the brain?
Well,
What would you
something,
as a
yeah,
daily routine to
yeah,
exercise right?
yeah. And the newer, the better. Meaning, if it is something totally not something that you have a whole lot of knowledge in, but you're really super interested in, or maybe something you really have been passionate about wanting to learn more about, the newer it is, the better. That's number one. And then number two, if you do find something new to do, to learn about, that involves more than just one of your senses. For example, a lot of people I've worked with, they've chosen to pick up a musical instrument, for example.
Mm.
A musical instrument uses multiple senses in order to learn how to play that instrument. And in doing so, the more senses that you can bring into the fold of learning, the stronger that learning is. So I
So
would,
something completely unrelated to business, like learning how to play the guitar,
mhm, yeah,
actually exercises the brain,
mhm,
takes advantage of neuroplasticity, its ability to build new cells and new neural pathways, and therefore leaves you more effective in your relationships and in running your business
right.
and managing and influencing your teams. So we got two E's. What's the third E?
All right. Third one is exercise your spirit. Now that is defined by individual. It is whatever spirit means to you, and because that. But how I look at it is spirit in the sense of introspection, doing something that you are able to get a read on by focusing inward into what is going on as far as your emotions are going, those physical sensations that we label as emotions are going, your thought process, what are you thinking about, what are you feeling? Because there's so many external distractions out there. We spend way, way, way too much time focused on what's happening in the external, not enough time focusing on what's happening inside of us and being self-aware of what those physical sensations are and what our thoughts are. So activities such as meditation, prayer, journaling, even doing artwork like drawing, painting, things of that nature. I know some people do like to do crochets, anything that brings us close to what's going on to the inside of our emotions, inside in our heart, basically, in our minds, and then letting that flow out into what we're doing, either through that prayer, journaling, meditation, artwork, any of those things.
Yeah, so there we have it. Exercise the body, the mind, and the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Key pathways to improving mood and thinking, leaving us more effective in relationships, in business, and you could say even with myself and everywhere in life. So, folks, you have been listening. Uh, Penelope, you are here and you are new. I want to say welcome. Stan, you're a regular. Kurt, you're a regular. I want to invite you to take a little piece of Keith by either asking a question or making a comment and taking this conversation and make it yours. So, who wants to comment or ask a question? I always leave a little room for this silence to acknowledge that we make that available and there's nothing wrong when there isn't a question or comment. So, Keith, tell me this. In a room like this, how does the brain learn and expand? And what could be something that I myself, participating in this conversation, could be dealing with that is an early signal, like catching an emotion that leaves me with the capacity of expanding my ability to participate and grow?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Definitely a wonderful question. So in a setting like this, if I'm in a meeting and it's an in-person meeting, or if I'm in a Zoom call like this one is, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for, the two big things that are the basis of the impact of communication, because we're always communicating, always. Even when we're not opening our mouth, we are communicating. We are communicating through our body language, eye contact, how we move. We're also communicating by our voice tone, voice pitch, cadence, speed, and volume. There's what is called the 55-38-7 rule. So that talks about the impact of communication on people. 55% of the impact is based on body language, body positioning, eye contact, etc. 38% is by voice tone, voice, inflection, voice, cadence, and so forth. That's 93% of the impact of communication being not what you say, but
Mm,
as they say, how you say it. And then the 7% is how you say it, which is important too, right? But I can tell you the same thing in 5 different ways, and it will register in 5 different ways with whoever is listening based on how it is said. So what I'm looking for to expand myself is I'm looking for tells. I'm looking for facial expressions, eye contact, body movements that potentially suggest hesitation, happiness, sadness, anxiety. And I'm looking at body language, I'm looking at facial expressions and so forth. People have micro facial expressions that tell the world like little pieces of information. And I take that information because of the number one thing I want to do is build connection. How do I build connection? Use empathy. I
mm,
use empathy by having empathy is being able to articulate what you perceive as the understanding of the other person, which is something that is absolutely missing in a lot of our affairs, is
yeah. Now,
empathy, being
um,
able to articulate the understanding of the other. And so I use a room like this, and if I see someone's eye move a certain way, or if I see their face change, then I'll say something like, "Looks like something crossed your mind that was really important."
mm,
Or if they come on the meeting and they're smiling and they seem to be really good, I do a quick read and like, "Oh yeah, looks like you're having an exciting, wonderful day." Or if they go into the meeting and they look really stressed, anxious, I'll say, "It looks like you're having a hard day."
yeah. And it's all in the world of exploring,
Mhm.
asking a
Right.
question to facilitate labeling what's happening on the inside.
Yeah. And I use those statements to elicit, elicit a response to let them, but also it's me letting them know, like, I'm seeing you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
seeing you. And I'm seeing what's happening. And I'm curious about what's happening. I'm concerned about what's happening. I care. Right. And we know that, what generally ends up happening is then we get more information, and more information helps us to build that connection. And then, if I need to, then I'll ask some really kind of more targeted questions. I never ask why anything. I try not to. I
Yeah,
don't ask why. I ask what and I ask how.
yeah. So, Keith, we're about to hit the bottom of the half hour. I'd
Mhm.
love for you to share with us how you work with your clients and who are your favorite clients? What is it that you're looking to solve for the people you serve? Give us a little bit of that and leave us with how people can connect with you and contact you if they want to.
Yeah. My favorite clients, our favorite clients at Atlas Behavioral Consulting are the clients who are they're looking to grow. They want to grow, they want to learn, and they want to move forward in either their own self as individuals. They want to grow. Let's say I'm working with a couple. They want to grow within their relationship. They want to become closer or stay close together, but also with organizations, trying to help them through, their growth. Sometimes they come, and one of my biggest favorites is they're coming in a crisis moment, a pivotal moment as an individual, a pivotal moment in their growth, a pivotal moment for the organizational growth. And then I love to sit down with them either in person or virtually and then walk through like what's happening, what is going on, what got you here today, what got this organization here today, what do you need help with. I love learning about that and then working with them, either through consulting, through counseling, through training, through coaching, whatever it may be, to help them reach whatever those goals are,
Yeah.
based on what they value, based on what their virtues are. So that's, and so we work with people in person, we work with people virtually, over the phone, however way, is comfortable for them. Um, and The best way to reach me, if anyone wants to reach me, the best way to reach me is through email. Just email me directly. And that email is my name, Keith, Keith dot Lisenbee, Lisenbee at atlas-bhc.com. That's the easiest way to reach me, the best way to reach me. We have an Instagram, called, and it's atlas.bhc. And then we're on YouTube again, and it's just all Atlas BHC. So we're on YouTube, and on Instagram, you can find little short videos that I have done about, ideas and concepts and things to do, things to try in your any situation, be it work, be it home, be it wherever, that will help with a lot of things that people are working on and challenged with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Keith, thank you so much for creating the space for this conversation to happen. And so based on everything we've discussed today, what is the one thing you want to leave the listeners with?
Empathy, like I said before, it's about connections. It is about being able to put your ego a little bit to the side a little bit and listen with understanding, listening to understand the other person. That's the key to all of it. It's a key to your relationships at work. It's key to relationship with your boss or with the person you're mentoring. It's key to your relationships at home too. Can you articulate the understanding of the person using empathy and build that connection that way?
Yeah. Thank you for reinforcing that. Giovanni and I are fond of saying this. People do crazy things when they do not have the experience of being heard.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy you're pointing to calls out, for me, my responsibility to create the space where people are left being heard. Keith, thank you so much. All of this conversation touches on a number of the tenets upon which the Daily Huddle is built. I was speaking to you yesterday, and I want to honor again a good friend of mine, Patty Dabrowski. It must have been episode 20 or episode 30, I don't know, early in the shortly after the inception of the Daily Huddle, that Patty Dabrowski visited, and she goes, you know what? I may be the age I am, but I'm a renegade. I want to leave you with the secrets to being a renegade. And this is what she said. She said, love with all your might. Love the people you love to hate. Love them. Second is stress less. Life is really short. There are millions of people who did not wake up this morning. You did. Stress less. It's not that significant. Laugh out loud. Laughter heals, she said. Eat well. We're not telling you to go be a vegan or something. We're saying eat well, nourish your body as you exercise it. Rest well, give of everything you've got, and move your body. Keith did say that. Exercise your body. And last but not least, our good friend, Dr. Monica Ogando, loves to say, check your assumptions. Just when you think what you're assuming is the truth and you have to defend it, it may serve you well to assume that it's not the truth and ask some questions. So check yourself before you wreck your relationships, before you wreck your team. Folks, this is our Daily Huddle. We are here every weekday from 9 a.m. to 9:30-ish a.m. We stream live on YouTube at the Daily Huddle. We love you, and we love the people like you, Keith, who come and give so generously. Thank you for being here. You are welcome anytime.
Right. Thank you for having me, and I will be on anytime. It's been a wonderful discussion.
Awesome. Well, this is our daily huddle for today. We'll see you on Monday, bright and early at 9 a.m. here. Giovanni and I will be on. Until then.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you,
Thank
Sorrel.
you.